welcome to Telling the Tale, the podcast where we're going to go through every single one of Telltale Games' games. I'm your host, Mitchell Farley Wolfe, and I'm here, as always, with Dustin Jackson. Dustin, how's it going?
You know what? I'm going all right for tonight.
Today's all right for tonight. I love that song. It's a good song.
It's so good, and you get to hear it a couple times.
Yeah, they really weren't shameful at all about putting the same song in there multiple times. Which is good. If it's a good song and you know people are going to love it the second and third time, don't shy away.
Yeah, I mean, if it were a lesser song, I would find it a little weird. But if it's all right for tonight, I think it's all right for any time.
Yeah, I feel the same way about that as I feel about movies that go beyond the 2-hour mark. It's like, okay, you can have an infinitely long movie and I'll still like it if you keep filling it up with things that I'm genuinely interested in and it doesn't slow down. And,
yeah.
Like if you have a 4-hour movie and it's good, that's great. If you have an hour and a half movie that doesn't have enough stuff in it, it's too long. I feel the same way about the number of times you play the song "Today Is All Right for Tonight."
That's true, but even then, I feel like if it's a long movie that I really like, I still have to be in the mood for it because it's still a commitment.
Sure,
you're still going to be sitting there for like 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, but that's adult talk right there. That's
yeah.
Stuff that you learn over time because you've been burned.
I got places to be, things to do.
It's burnt. You learn that by burning yourself, by missing too many opportunities in real life. You don't have that skill when you're a teenager.
I didn't know it was going to get so deep here today. Right off the bat, even.
So we played Strong Bad's Cool Game for Attractive People, Episode 4, Dangeresque 3, The Criminal Projective. That is the full name of this video game.
That's a lot of words in a name.
I think it might be, at the time it was released, the game with the longest title. Like,
wow.
The video game with the longest title. Since then, there have been some indie games that are like way longer.
In the grand scheme of things,
yeah.
Would you say it's still probably one of the longer ones? Like compared to every game out there?
Yeah, compared to every game out there, it's in the top 1% of 1%. But compared to the longest thing, I don't think it's even half as long.
Yeah, like time.
Yeah, time is one long game. Huh, Dustin, you're bringing
a
lot of the deep stuff too. This might be a deep introspective week. I'm getting those vibes. Here's the thing though. Despite this being a deep and introspective week, I don't know if I have that much to say about Dangeresque 3, The Criminal Projective.
I don't know if I do either, just like beyond I love it.
Yeah, I was listening to a podcast I really like. Shout out to the Hop-Ons podcast, where they're currently in the middle of rewatching Community. They got to the episode in Community. It's the first paintball episode. I don't know if you've watched Community, Dustin. Have you?
I have not, but fill me in on this paintball episode.
Well,
I'm chomping at the bit.
So many episodes of Community, I would say most of them, are treatises on what it means to be a sitcom. Mm-hmm. And they do interesting things with tropes in weird ways, and sometimes, so there's like a lot of deep stuff to talk about. And sometimes it's a paintball episode. These happen roughly once per season, where the entire community college just breaks down into a paintball-themed Armageddon, where there's a prize for a paintball tournament that is, for some reason, way too good every time. And everyone wants to win, so they just like start shooting each other and destroying the school with paintballs.
It turns them into animals.
This is the episode of Community directed by the Russo brothers that got the Russo brothers the job that they would later become much more famous for, directing Avengers Endgame and Infinity War.
Wow.
So people liked this episode of the show. Thing is, in this podcast I was listening to, this is a roundabout way of bringing it back to us, they didn't have much to say about it. They were just like, yeah, it was really well shot, and it was exciting to watch, and it was fun. I don't know.
That is kind of how I feel. That is kind of how I feel about this too, because honestly, playing through the whole thing, the whole time I was thinking this might be the easiest episode. I don't think I got stuck ever. But I'm fine with that. I don't care because it's so funny. I love this episode so much.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that this episode trying to be cinematic would actually matter because the movie in fiction, Dangeresque 3, The Criminal Projective, is barely cinematic at all. but the mechanics of storytelling in this episode of the video game is much more cinematic than previous episodes of this video game.
Right. It's also structured kind of weirdly. I feel like in the other episodes, you kind of have like your Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. This one is just kind of moment-to-moment scenes, which is fine. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
But I did note it. I could never tell like how far I was in it.
Yeah, Telltale Games, especially like the later half of Sam & Max Season 1 onward, including most of the episodes so far except this one, in Strong Bad's Cool Game for Attractive People, have been really dialed in to a 4-act structure. Act 1 is barely an act. It's not that long at all. It's usually like an intro sequence. Like, oh, there's a robot stomping around Sam and Max's street. And then Act 2 is like gathering intel on the mystery, trying to figure out how we can start putting this thing into motion. Act 3, there's a twist, and then you need to solve a problem that comes out. And Acts 2 and 3 are like 90% of the episode. And then Act 4 is sort of a mirror of that first act where it was just like a really quick intro thing. Now it's a really quick like boss fight thing where you try to bring everything to a close and usually engage with some Rube Goldberg machine of like hitting one wall to knock a bowling ball off the other wall to roll down a thing and hitting a bad guy in the face. It's usually that 4-act structure. And the the difference between the second act and the third act in Sam & Max is usually very apparent because that boundary line is where they put the musical number. And
that's true.
In an episode like Dangeresque 3 where they really don't do that, they just sort of put a bunch of tableaus in a row for you to run through. I think there's like maybe 7 or 8 many scenes in this movie that you just do in order. It kind of throws you off.
It does. At no point I was kind of like, am I like halfway through this? Am I near the end? It was kind of hard to tell. But I feel like if there's any episode you can do that with, it's this one, since it's meant to be a bad movie. Strong Bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it makes total sense that he wouldn't even think to divide this movie up into acts 1, 2, and 3. It's just a bunch of scenes. It's just a bunch of things happening.
Yeah, there's a scene in the movie where Homestar, playing the bad guy Uzi Bazooka, shoots Senor Cardgage, playing Dangeresque's dad, Dangeresque, and kills him. And you cry over dead Senor Cardgage. And that felt like the end of the movie almost. And that's barely halfway through the episode.
That's one of my favorite parts of the entire episode. It made me laugh so hard.
It's really good.
Yeah. When Renaldo, played by Coach Z, says, "Oh, he's gone, Dangeresque," and you just see Senor Cardgage walking away in the background.
Yeah. Speaking of, you've been talking, I think once per episode so far, about liking Senor Cardgage, and I knew this was coming and I didn't say anything because I didn't want to spoil it for you. How did you feel about the first real use of Senor Cardgage by Strong Bad School Game for Attractive People?
I love it. I love that technically he's not even supposed to be playing himself, but he is. It's Senor Cardgage, but he's supposed to be playing Strong Bad's dad, or Dangeresque's dad, but Strong Bad needs to kind of act around what he's saying.
Yeah. Yeah, like there's no way to make him read the script, so you just have to get him to talk and hope it works.
Yeah, you have to kind of bend it to wherever they're at in the script.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. I feel like it was the perfect way to use him. And they don't use him too much. He's not even like a major character in this episode. Just like he's not a major character.
You can make him a major character.
Yeah.
That would be, if there's anything wrong with episode 2, which was up to this point my favorite one in the series, Strong Baddie of the Free, it was that, like, I felt, even if I didn't have the sort of social problems that I do with the depiction of Hamsar, I felt like, oh man, you're really milking Hamsar. It's hard to get much out of Hamsar because he isn't a person. He doesn't have
a walking
personality.
non sequitur.
Yeah. There's like 5 characters in the Homestar Runner universe that are walking non sequiturs like that. And they're all great. I love them all. But you can't have them too much. And that's sort of the purpose of them.
Yeah.
If you try to put an episode around the drive-through whale, which is definitely one of those 5, it won't work.
Yeah, that's true. Although Senor Card Gauge does have like a couple cartoons where he gets to be the star, but he's not like a character who shows up in like every email or episode. But whenever he does, they make it work. Like the Scenorial Day episode.
And
that's
like
so good.
the cartoons where he does get to be a star, I think this is another, like, we were talking about Looney Tunes last week. This is another thing like that where Bugs Bunny can be the star of a thing for about 3 minutes. Before it's realized that, like, oh, he has to do drama work, like narrative acting, and he can't. Like, there's no way to make him do that. Yeah. Anyway, this episode again, good?
Yeah, I love it. Even though gameplay-wise, it's maybe not as strong. Like we said, it is very easy. Mm-hmm. There just aren't a whole lot of puzzles that stump you. Like, you get, like, the part where you have to get the 3 ingredients for Dr. What's Pom Pom's character's name?
Ooh.
See, that one's hard because this is a character for this. He's not in any of the Dangeresque emails.
Oh, what is his name?
Dr. something. Experimento, that's it. So you have to get the 3 items for Dr. Experimento, and it's the easiest thing in the world. You already have the soda from your office.
Yeah.
Then you just go to the stick and get a flower. And then the part with Marzipan's hair is, for this, the closest thing to a puzzle.
Yeah.
And it's fine. It's I don't care that it's so easy because I just want to get to the funny bits for this one.
How's it rank with the other episodes?
It's so hard. I wonder.
It's my favorite.
Because concept.
It's my favorite for sure.
Okay. It's probably my favorite too, just because I think the comedy and writing really carry it. I think gameplay wise, Strong Baddie of the Free is still probably my favorite, but overall, yeah, I gotta put this one at the top.
Yeah, Strong Baddie of the Free is the one I always go back to in my mind when I think of Strong Bad's cool game for attractive people. Oh yeah, like that episode. And I think it's just a really strong example of what you can do in this universe with the style of gameplay all coming together. It's probably like the singular most successful combination of those elements. But
yeah.
Dangeresque 3, I don't think about with Strong Bad's cool game for attractive people. I just think it's like its own thing. It
kind of is because they've been building up to Dangeresque 3 for so long, and now they just decide to do it as a game. And it probably is the best way they could have done it after so much buildup. It's the only way it could be big.
Yeah, it feels like a TV show had its normal season run and then like had one more episode way later in the year for like a Christmas special. Like Doctor Who does that. It has a season and then it has a Christmas special that's not attached to the season. This feels like that, except it's just right there in the 5-episode season in the middle of it. Yeah, it's great. I love it. I understand why Dan Connors said that it was one of his favorite Telltale episodes ever.
Wow. Good.
Yeah, it was this one and then number 5 from Tales of Monkey Island.
Wow, nice. I remember that one being a great one.
And number 1 of The Walking Dead, I think he said.
Oh, episode 1 of season 1?
Yeah.
That's a good one. Those are all very memorable, standout episodes, so I can agree with those.
Yeah, I think the thing with the puzzles is, like, you're right. Like, they are worse in and of themselves. I guess that's just fine.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me.
They're going
that they're
for
worse.
with this season.
Yeah, exactly.
Like when you want your really like adventure game puzzles, Telltale has Salmon Max and they have Monkey Island for you to do that. And this is much more about just the world.
It's about having an interactive Homestar Runner experience.
Yeah. And as far as give me a cool Homestar Runner experience that I can play through, this is the best episode in the season so far.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what you think about 8-Bit Is Enough, because I mean, not too many spoilers. We'll get to it when we get to it. But I remember the next episode at the time thinking, "Oh, this is my favorite, for sure." But then, your roommate Adam recently replayed through it. He hated it.
Interesting.
Like, he hated it.
Wow.
And a lot of the concerns he raised seemed legitimate to me, even though I remember liking it the most. So
I remember hearing people liking it the most too.
Yeah. Well, let's get into the nitty-gritty of this episode. The way it starts already threw me for a loop, because like they show the wall of Dangeresque's office, and it's like a realistic texture of a brick wall, and it doesn't look like
is totally
anything
different.
else. Yeah.
It's really cool. It's cool to see something different with these characters and world. This is the first time they ever do this with Homestar, I think.
Yeah, I I wrote down in my notes here, real bricks? What are these graphics? Because yeah, they don't look like this doesn't look like the Homestar world at all. It doesn't keep up through the episode. Most of the episode is just the normal graphics. But I did notice that it seemed like the lines, like the outlines on characters. Let me know if you noticed this too. It seemed like they were thicker. Like this episode was maybe a different art style that they were tampering with the engine a little bit for. Did you see that, or am I making stuff up about that?
I feel like subconsciously it's something I noticed, just something being a little different. I never really thought about it, but it did feel a little different. I would probably have to go back in and really look at it while thinking about it.
Yeah, I would need some side-by-sides to make sure, but like where I noticed it the most was when if you go to the Lappy in Dangeresque's office and you check your emails, the Lappy has like a black outline around it, and it seemed way more pronounced than I remembered it being in any past episode.
Interesting. Yeah, like I don't know if it was like actually something being different, or if I was just kind of in like a weird headspace or what. So I think now that you said that, I might go in, look at it, and be like, wow, Mitch was totally right.
No, it's probably Mitch was totally wrong. Always is.
Mitch lied to me.
Yeah, I'll say that.
He's made a fool out of me yet again.
I kind of don't know how to go through this episode. We would normally go act by act, but like we talked about earlier, this one doesn't really have it.
Yeah, I don't even have a whole lot of notes. I just have like a lot of lines.
Yeah, so I guess the overall overarching concept here is that Strong Bad finally got around to making Dangeresque 3, The Criminal Projective, which is a movie, and the final movie in a trilogy of movies that have appeared in past Homestar Runner cartoons. I think both of them were in Strong Bad emails. The first one was Dangeresque 2, and then the second one was Dangeresque 1, It's Dangeresque 2.
Dangeresque 2?
And now, finally, Dangeresque 3 is happening. Which I think must have been like a high priority fan demand at the time of like, I want to see a third Dangeresque movie.
Yeah, they were building it up since Dangeresque 2, or Dangeresque 1, Dangeresque 2.
Yeah.
Because the whole point of that one was asking about Dangeresque 3, so it had been in the ether for a long time.
If Netflix ever makes a Homestar Runner movie, like we talked about and theorized at one point, not that there's any reason they would, but if they ever do, I would love the full-length motion picture of the Homestar universe to be Dangeresque 4. I think that would be a good narrative through line for it.
I would love that. Like, these Dangeresque emails and this episode, there's just so much potential for funny jokes. Even when it's the same joke, this episode uses a lot of jokes from the Dangeresque emails, and they're just so funny. Even then, like using Strong Sad as a stunt double, and you can just clear, like when they're jumping off the building, Dangeresque, Renaldo, and Cutesy Buttons are jumping off the building, and it cuts to Strong Sad is dressed up as Strong Bad, but then the other two are just wooden props.
It's so good.
Oh, that gets me every time. Oh boy.
Have you ever seen the Jack Black movie Be Kind Rewind?
No, I want to. I just never got around to it, but I've always wanted to.
They top-down premise is that they lose a lot of this one video store's movies, so they have to reshoot all the movies, and they just make like bad home video versions of all the movies.
Yeah, it's just a really funny concept.
Yeah, it's good every time you see it.
Yeah, they were. So, how familiar are you with the Muppets, Mitchell?
I've been watching. You're gonna hate me when I say this. I've been watching 15 minutes of the original Muppets movie every day, once a month, for the last 4 months.
How does that work? Wow.
I tried to watch it the first time, kind of put it down, and then I was like, yeah, that was fun though. Let me watch it like a month later, watch another 15 minutes, put it down. And I've been watching it 15 minutes at a time. Great so far.
You'll finish it someday.
Yeah, I can even check right now how far I am into it. I think I'm an hour and 10 minutes into it.
Oh, that's near the end, I think. I don't think it's a very long movie.
It's been long for me.
Months at a time. It might just be the longest movie ever made for you.
Yeah, I've never done that with other movies. It's just this movie. I don't know
That's
why
so
I can't
strange,
finish it.
but I love that this is the movie that this happens to.
Yeah, I'm not even not liking it. It's great. Yeah, I know the Muppets.
The reason I brought it up was because at one point they were planning to make a movie called I think it was called like The Cheapest Muppet Movie Ever Made. That was a similar concept. Like Gonzo blows the budget for their next big movie, so they kind of have to make a movie around that.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
I assume it would have been something like that. It would have been like this shitty, compromised movie. But they didn't end up making it. But I assume it would have been very funny like this.
So, the overarching story of Dangeresque 3, The Criminal Projective, if you can call it one, is Cutesy Buttons, played by Marzipan, asks Dangeresque for help getting the formula for, like, enhanced plant growth. She lost it, she wants it back. And you get it back, and then like, it's hard to even think of, like, how this story is.
Cutesy Buttons is always about the serums.
She's always into the serums, yeah.
Yeah, she needed the serum to not be kidnapped.
Yeah, didn't work out.
Oh.
Yeah. Then there's a rocket to the sun. It's so hard to actually think of how the story goes.
The thing is, like, it's not like it's badly written, but it's supposed to be, so that just makes it even funnier that we have no idea how to even explain what happens.
Yeah, you find out that the launch codes for the rocket to the sun were stolen by someone named Uzi Bazooka. Then you find out that Homestar's character, Dangeresque 2, is actually Uzi Bazooka in disguise. And then you find out that Uzi Bazooka just looks like Homestar and isn't Dangeresque 2. And Dangeresque 2 is a different character. And then Dangeresque 2 and Uzi Bazooka, both Homestar, get in a fight. And for some reason...
There's so many good jokes in that. Like, how they do the split screen between the two Homestars. Like the Parent Trap.
Yeah.
And then great. when they're fighting and they have Strong Sad be one of the Homestars when they use Uzi Bazooka.
Yeah, Strong Sad really took a few for the team in the filming of this movie.
Yeah, he does in all of these. He plays pretty big parts, even though he has no like reason to help. That's one of my favorite jokes in the email is when they're talking to him, they're asking him about Perducci. He says, "What do you know about Perducci, doughboy?" And Strong Sad says, "I already told you I'm not gonna be in your stupid movie." Then it cuts and you see Strong Bad took his sandwich. "What do you know about Perducci, doughboy?" "Only that I am not one of his minions." Oh.
So the rocket lab takes place in Strong Bad's computer room, which they moved the Fun Machine into because the Fun Machine has a game called Space Circus Catastrophe that I guess Strong Bad wanted to use to emulate the visuals of going through space.
I guess it works.
Yeah, sure, it works.
It gets you where you need to go.
Did you play this game?
Yes, I did.
Fuck yeah.
I did play this game. I did play Space Circus Catastrophe.
What'd you think of Space Circus Catastrophe?
I actually enjoyed it. I thought of all the games so far, this was the good one.
Would you know?
Yeah, I did play Math Kickers and Hot Babelian Odyssey.
Yes! Okay, this episode has been a 27-minute and 40-second adventure of me trying to find out if you played these games. Hell yeah, dude. I'm stoked on that. Okay, let's go through all three of these before we go back to Dangeresque 3. Math Kickers. Featuring the Algebros. What did you think?
I didn't like it.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, it sucks. I played it for like 5 minutes. I beat the first level. I got to the second level. I don't want to sound stupid. I can do basic math.
Well,
but
you don't need to do any math, though.
Yeah.
You just need to balance the sides of the guys.
Oh, is that all it was? I played this like right after I woke up, so maybe it just didn't sink into my little brain.
Yeah, so if there's 5 guys on the left and 3 side guys on the right, you just need to kill 2 guys on the left, and then you've balanced the equation.
Okay, I wasn't even paying attention to the number of guys. I was like actually trying to do the equations.
Oh, yeah, it'll get you like that.
Yeah, maybe that's why I didn't like it.
Yeah, I think that's my favorite part about Math Kickers, which is this is a fair criticism of a lot of educational games where it looks like you're doing math. It looks like you're learning, but you're just learning how to play the game most of the time. You don't need to do any math in Math Kickers. You hit 2 guys on the side, and then like the balancing or factoring the quadratic equation, all you need to do is just hit it a bunch of times, and then it keeps factoring on its own.
Okay, I wanted to make sure that's what it was.
Yeah, no, there's no math.
That's where I kept getting tripped up.
There's no math in the whole game.
Maybe I would have played it more had I known that.
Well, I mean, it's not like that great. It's just a lot better than Snake Boxer.
Yeah.
Okay, so
then I played Hot Babelian Odyssey.
Hot Babelian Odyssey. What'd you think of that one?
I also hated it. No, it was. I feel like after a while, they drop in too many Nebulons, and I'm like,
well, that's when you press the left button and you use the bomb.
I felt like I did, and it didn't do anything. Maybe I did it wrong. Maybe I pressed
you only got
wrong.
2 bombs.
Okay.
Yeah, that might be it. That one's hard. That one's hard, but it's hard. It's the first one that's hard in a way that is not stupid.
Yeah, it feels like an actual game.
Yeah.
But this one, Space Circus Catastrophe, I actually thought was pretty fun.
Yeah, Space
I had a
Circus
pretty good time
Catastrophe
with this.
feels like a WarioWare almost, where it's just, let me show you something really quick and then take it away, and then show you it really quick and take it away. And you just have to react to it. You're either avoiding an asteroid coming from up, down, left, or right, in which case you just need to move to the opposite direction.
It took me a second to get that. I thought you could just move out of, like, in any direction out of its way, but, you know,
me too.
Once you get it.
Yeah. Once you understand what it's asking of you, it's a lot easier.
How far did you get?
So I got to... So I got... My score was 20,050.
Wow, I think that's higher than I got.
I think you need a 15,000 to get the green light on that checklist thing in your inventory. So like that's how far you actually need to get in order for the game to respect you.
You have to earn the game's respect.
I barely got to the black hole, which is the way the levels go. It's Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, and it goes through all the planets, and then Mercury, and then the sun, and then if you beat the sun, it's the black hole. And I looked up to see, like, okay, what would be next, because I died there and I didn't want to go through the whole thing again. At the black hole, it just keeps repeating black hole every time.
Okay.
But a little bit faster.
Yeah, I beat the sun, so black hole would have been next.
Nice. Well, you did it. You're all caught up on your Videlectrix games. What's the takeaway?
1 out of 4 ain't bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was surprised at how much I enjoyed this one. I mean, obviously it's just like this little mini game within a game, but you know, I wanted to keep going. I kept going until I died. I didn't just like exit out of it right after dying the first time.
Yeah, so I like how they all seem to represent different eras of 80s gaming.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because 80s gaming, I think now is thought of as... whenever it's used for nostalgic purposes or used as a reference, it's sort of monolithic. It's all like, yeah, this is the NES. Have fun. In Math Kickers, it's the NES, but Hot Babley and Odyssey is like almost the kind of game you'd find on a ZX Spectrum, and Snake Boxer is definitely an Atari game.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Fun Machine is very versatile. They
put a lot of detail into it.
Yeah.
But it reminds me, was there a Teen Girl Squad in this episode at all?
No.
Do you think they heard the complaints?
I mean, yeah, because they were the forums were active and they were on them.
Yeah,
I remember talking to devs at the age of 14 when this game was coming out, being the biggest asshole, just talking to devs. In embarrassing memories, honestly, if I can get into it.
I remember reading the forums. I don't remember posting that much.
Yeah, but they were there, and they were the way they were. So I think they might have just taken out the Teen Girl Squad. But people loved these Videlectrix games. So like they enhanced that, and I think they leaned into it maybe even harder than they would have anyway.
To the point where the last episode seems to be based more on video games. Well,
I mean, I think that was probably set in stone to begin with, but yeah. 2008 was a time period when 80s nostalgia was still nostalgia and wasn't just like the thing you do. Because I was not born in the 80s. I don't have 80s in my blood. So when someone references the 80s, I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm not mad at you.
I've seen Mario.
I've seen Mario. I've seen Turtles. I'm not mad at you.
I get what Pac-Man is.
Yeah. I even like those things, I would go as far to say. But like nostalgia, no, it's not nostalgia. I'm not nostalgic about George Washington. You know, it's something that was it's just not part of my life at all. So
I was born in the 80s, but it was the tail end of the 80s. It was at the point where I was 1.5 by the time the 90s rolled around.
Were scrunchies in or out yet?
I think they might have been kind of on the fence. They were kind of testing them out.
Okay. They were testing them out. Who knows how these are going to go?
They were biting their nails. They were so nervous. This'll make or break. But yeah, I have no connection to the 80s or anything from the 80s. My nostalgia is early 90s stuff.
Yeah, even though I missed some of the early 90s and wasn't intelligent for most of the 90s, I feel like that's still where I'm pulling from in terms of nostalgia. I think that just means the 90s is better. Yeah, and every generation will agree with me.
Well, that's when you were born, Mitch, so I would say the 90s were better than the 80s.
Oh, wow, what a weird compliment.
Bet you never heard that one before.
At the end of the movie, Dangeresque kills Uzi Bazooka, who is revealed to be a robot, with a diamond-tipped solar drill, and stops the Cheats character, Craig, who's not even a factor until the very end. Yeah, he's revealed to have built Uzi Bazooka, but is just sort of around. He kills Craig by kicking him into an airlock and jettisoning him out into space. And then it sort of zooms out from the movie, and it reveals Strong Bad and all of his friends and everyone that was in the movie watching the movie with it, and they're all mad at the movie except Strong Bad because they were either their parts were cut or they were portrayed poorly. There's lots of reasons to not like this movie. Coach Z's is my favorite because Coach Z thought that Dangeresque was going to rescue his character Renaldo and carry him off into the sunset. And Strong Bad says, "Oh, no, he dies in this one."
Yeah, everyone's pissed.
Yeah,
everyone had some sort of compromise to their character in this movie.
Did you try the extended play at all?
I don't think I did.
So this episode, I would recommend to listeners out there, if you're playing it and you also didn't try the extended play, do go back and do it. This is the only good extended play in the whole season, I'd say.
Wow.
You can go to each place, and it's shot like bloopers and outtakes and like commentaries. There's just like a lot more story after the credits roll.
I might actually go back and do that then. And
like 90% of the things on that checklist that you have every episode are specifically for extended play in this one.
That's just how it should be.
That is just how it should be. Like, you can't even get most of the collectibles until extended play in this one.
Yeah. You know what's one thing that's weird about this season is the way they do the black metal detector.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Because, like, in the first one, you don't get it until you get to the King of Town's castle. In the second one, you just have it.
Yep.
In the third one, it's in Strong Bad's room. You can get it right away, but you still have to, like, get it and put it in your inventory. And, yeah, and then this one, you just kind of find it as well.
It's weird, like part of the movie that you get it, but you don't need it for the movie.
Yeah, they should just have it as part of your inventory at all times in every episode. Just have you start with it.
Well, in this one, you can't actually use it until extended play.
Wrong.
Oh, okay.
That's wrong. Sorry, I didn't mean for that to sound so
no,
accusatory.
Hang on, I'll just hang out
wrong!
in my corner over here.
No, but
berate me.
The reason I know that you're wrong about this is because I tried it, and I did find a couple things. Although it's weird the way it works, because you know the part where you're talking to Strong Sad, he's playing all the brothers, and you have to find out which one's actually Perducci. I kept trying to use the black metal detector there, and it would like let me take it out and search for it, but it would never tell me something was there. But then once Strong Sad was out of that spot, then it would let me find stuff.
Right. Okay. So wait, but when do you go to that spot when Strong Sad's not there?
Just if you return after.
Oh, okay. So I think at that point, though, that's already like post that area's main story significance.
But you can still do it before extended play is all.
Gotcha. So there's a puzzle at one point where you need to trace lines from boxes to the correct Mexican food that it's pointing to, and then figure out how to reorganize those boxes. This is a weird thing for me. I really have a lot of trouble tracing lines like this.
No, this one was a little hard. I feel like the lines in general in this one were a little weird to follow. I was having a little trouble with it too. I mean, I got it, but it did take me a couple tries sometimes. I was like, wait, was that one or that one?
Yeah, it almost took me like a minute per one line. And that's a long time if you've seen these lines. They're not particularly long lines. It's just it's one of those knot puzzles. You'll sometimes see where you follow a line along like a knot and try to see where it's pointing to. These have just always kind of been hard for me. I don't know. I think my eyes are bad. Well, that's I know okay, my eyes are bad. That's just fact.
You're still my little slugger.
Oh, thanks, Dad. There's a lot of Sam and Max references in this one.
Yeah,
Dangeresque kind of is Sam and Max.
Yeah, I think the only one I really saw, or that comes to mind right away, is at the beginning when you get the call from the commissioner.
Mm-hmm. There's another. Sometimes the King of Town as Perducci, when you're playing cards, can deal you the embarrassing idle time card from Chariots of the Dogs.
That's right. I like that. I love little cameos like that.
Yeah. Also, sort of more of an homage than an explicit reference. The way you can use your nunchuck gun on the environment is a lot like how you always have the gun in Sam & Max.
Yeah.
Just for this episode, I think Dangeresque is if Strong Bad knew about Sam & Max, and I guess he does later. He would funnel a lot of that knowledge into his depiction of Dangeresque. Dangeresque is true. Very Sam and Max, much Flint Paper, really.
Yeah, he fights. He fights the law, and then sometimes fights the crime, but not as much.
Yeah, he has an office that someone is paying for somehow because that office is funny to me because that office building, it looks like they just rented it out of something. It's either like free rental office space in a mall, or maybe it's someone's, like a room in someone's house. You can't exactly tell, but the window is looking right out to the like the greenery space that's sort of next to the stick, which means that right where the stick, you walk around in a circle and you can get back to the stick, so that greenery area is a circle.
Yeah, I never noticed that before. It never occurred to me that was just like a circle, but I guess it makes total sense.
Well, inside of that circle is some sort of office building. And they rented out an office in that building in order to shoot this. It's a lot of locational information right there. That's
so fun. Like, just imagine a big office building in the middle of this field of a stick, a car, Bub's concession stand.
Yeah. Maybe that's where they go for Bizcast Fry. That's where they go.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Unless there's a reason to not headcanon that, but I don't think there is. I wrote a note here Uzi Bazooka dies a robot's death. Why did I write that? That's nothing.
Dies a robot's death?
I did write that. Okay. So there's a scene in where you're like manipulating the space station you're supposedly on in order to roll the solar drill into Uzi Bazooka's chest. You like turn it to the left, turn it to the right, and it rolls along the ground. Thing is, they've clearly, when you press the roll right button, they're clearly just like turning the camera because you can't change the house. It's shot in Strong Bad's basement.
Yeah.
But
then how is the drill?
How is the drill moving? You picked up on that too? It was bugging me so bad. Like, how on earth would that happen? It's because it's not actually tilting. Strong Bad wouldn't have been able to do that.
Maybe they just cut out someone pushing it.
If they cut out anything, you would have seen it.
That's true. That's some of my favorite parts of this episode.
Yeah, the things they... I love when King of Town does his last scene as Perducci. He's like, yeah. Anyway, that's my time. If you need me for pickups, call me later. And he just walks off scene.
Or like when Homestar is trying out the... I forget what the line is, but he like says a line 4 different times, like, yeah, go with that first one.
Yeah. What if you were just watching the Avengers and one time Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man? He says, I am Iron Man. Anyway, guys, it's been so good working with you. I'm going to go, but if you need me, you have my agent's number. And they just left it in the movie. They should do that. They're cowards.
They awkwardly cut in the middle of it.
Yeah.
That'd be great. I would love if they did Avengers in Dangeresque style.
Oh, that'd be great. Or Dangeresque in Avengers style, either way.
Yeah, I guess I'd be down for either one.
Either do the dumb story, but like really expensive, or the, I guess, traditional Avengers story, but super not expensive. You see, Oh yeah, go for it.
Oh, I was just gonna say one cameo that I liked seeing in this episode was the River Quest Safari Venture.
What is that? Oh, that's the origin of the shark, the bear holding a shark, right?
It's when Strong Bad's doing like a crappy Jungle Cruise knockoff of Strong Badia, and like the boat's not even moving, and like Homestar's just sitting in a boat, and Strong Bad's talking like, all right, now everybody keep their hands and legs inside the ride, and let's get this going. and the bear with the shark pops up behind the fence. And Strong Bad's like, oh, watch out, there's a monster behind the fence. And Homestar goes,
I love that Homestar's down for that, though. That he's just excited to do the ride with Strong Bad.
No, he was very much not into it. He was not excited. Strong Bad's trying to get him excited.
Well,
he's like,
not excited, but like theoretically,
he's feigning excitement.
Before that scene happened, Strong Bad came up to Homestar and said, "Would you like to be on a river adventure cruise?" And Homestar inevitably said, "Would I?" And
then the end he says, "Strong Bad, I have to be honest. That was probably the worst $3,000 I ever spent."
Thank you for bringing up Disneyland, because I had a thought. There was a NES game set in Disneyland that had a mini game that is almost exactly Space Circus Catastrophe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like almost exactly.
Wow.
Except not.
I think I know the game
stuff.
you're talking about, but I didn't know it had a game like that in it.
Do you remember what it was called?
No, but I remember watching a video of it on YouTube a long, long time ago. So I think I know what you're talking about, but not enough to be of any help.
Okay. Well,
No need to thank me.
I just Googled NES Disneyland. It gave me Adventures in the Magic Kingdom. Oh, this looks right. Yeah. Adventures in the Magic Kingdom. There was... Yeah, I'm like pretty sure there's a Space Mountain minigame in this.
That's basically just
it's like
literally
Space
Circus Catastrophe.
Yeah, like a 1-to-1. Exactly it.
That kind of makes me want to play it a little bit because I liked Space Circus Catastrophe.
Okay, I gotta find a YouTube. Ooh, okay, I found a video of the minigame. Yeah, this is exactly what I remember. And I'm watching an ad on YouTube just for you, audience. And now I'm watching the thing.
This is the most immersive podcast.
Yeah, and then I'm skipping ahead.
It's like I'm really there watching a video on YouTube.
Yeah, this is totally it. So what you do is, instead of asteroids coming up on your heads-up display, you have just arrows, and you just need to press the D-pad in the direction of the arrow. And sometimes an asteroid comes at you. You shoot that. This is the game. This is straight up like exactly it. Wow. Like even like the amount of damage you take, I think is the same or similar. Wow.
Wow. They wore their inspiration on their sleeve.
Their bunchy sleeve. I don't have anything else to say about this episode, I think.
I don't think I do either. We covered the important bits because like 75% of my notes are just all the lines. Yeah,
well, speaking of, let's head into our segments. And let's start it with our brand new segment we started last week, The Golden Moment.
Ooh, The Golden Moment.
The Golden Moment is your favorite micro moment of the episode. Just a small little thing that happened. Mine is... the thing that made me laugh the most is when I was in Venice talking to Strong Sad's character, and all of a sudden I got a pop-up for Ireland. Just that one moment of like, oh, I'm going to Ireland now? And then I get the pop-ups for Tokyo, and then Cairo, and Paris, and I think one more. Just like, well, wait, why am I doing these things? That's probably my golden moment.
It's funny, this episode probably fills out your map the most of any episode so far, I think. I think you're left with like one free space left.
Yeah, but it's not fair because most of those locations are just the same
spot.
It's the same bridge over the river with like a different flavor theme song for Ireland or Tokyo or Venice.
And just a prop in the background to sell it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's my golden moment.
I think my golden moment has to be just talking with Senor Card Gauge.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe that. That's great.
Yeah, just any scene with him is so good. He's my favorite Homestar character. And yeah.
How about your weekly guy? Is it the same?
I think it's the same answer, Senor Card Gauge, and then in parentheses, Dangeresque.
I'm very happy for you, Dustin, that you've got your Card Gauge kick.
And it wasn't enough to make him the breakout star of the episode, even though he totally was. It was just enough to leave you wanting more.
Mine is probably Marzipan. I think as Sultry Buttons and Cutesy Buttons, she brought it both times.
She really does bring it playing two different roles.
Yeah. I mean, especially with Sultry Buttons, you can tell like, oh, she's having fun with Strong Bad right now.
Yeah, she gets to play a character she doesn't normally get to be. Because Cutesy Buttons is basically just Marzipan. But
yeah.
Sultry Buttons, she gets to be a bad girl.
Kinda. They're both kind of just still Marzipan, but
yeah.
but I like it whenever any character sort of says, Strong Bad, you really do actually suck, but like, yeah, we'll help you out. I like that a lot. It was Bub's last episode. In this episode, it's Marzipan. And that's a very unlikely one for Strong Bad too. He can usually coerce people like Homestar and Coach Z, but Marzipan is a different story.
Yeah, I feel like they just like being in movies because all these characters are in every Dangeresque.
Yeah. Well, honestly, if a friend of mine just like texted me a message and said, "Hey, I've got a budget of $80 and I'm gonna shoot for 2 hours today. Do you want to be there?" I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm definitely in that. I'm definitely gonna do that." For sure. I'm 26 years old and I'm doing that right now.
I can't believe I'm going to be in a movie.
I'll do it. I'll forget I did it. And then I'll never remember it again.
Man, it's a star-studded cast, too. Like, both Dangeresque villains are in this one episode. You have Perducci and... Oh, what's the name of Bubs' character? He was in Dangeresque 2.
Oh, God.
Monocle...
Monocle...
something.
Darren Baron Monocle something.
I love that he calls him Danger Skew.
Danger Skew.
And he's never corrected. I think that's just what he thinks he's called.
Well, you have the full cast here. You got Perducci, the Monocle guy, Killing You Guy.
Killing You Guy is super good.
Uzi Bazooka. Dangeresque 2 is a good guy now, but there was a worry in the past that maybe he wasn't.
Yeah. Strong Sad
and
playing
Craig.
multiple roles. Craig is so good too because you get that powered by the cheat voice.
Yeah,
for him.
That's great.
That kills me every time.
And of course Sultry Buttons, the Catwoman of the Dangeresque universe.
Yeah, that's a way to describe her.
Do you have an unweekly guy?
I don't think I do. Everyone this week just brings it. I think they're all so good this week.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, but no, I think everyone's pretty great.
They're all so funny. All of them they do a great job in their roles for what the movie is.
Maybe Strong Mad just on a compared to everyone else.
I could not say that. Killing You Guy is so
You're right.
Such a good
character.
Right.
I'm just trying to think of compared to everyone else.
It's funny because he's such a nothing character. And that's the worst name for a character.
Yeah. I guess the drive-through whale plays Agent W. And doesn't really bring anything. I guess just by deduction, the drive-through whale is my unweekly guy this week.
I guess I'll agree there if I absolutely had to pick.
Your potent pickup. What's your potent pickup?
It has to be the nunchuck gun.
Nunchuck's gun. Yeah, it's the nunchuck gun.
You use it on so many things and on people, and you get little funny reactions.
Yeah, it's definitely the one. I almost had the hubcaps. You can
that would have been good.
You can tear hubcaps off of the cool car in the field and throw them at Strong Mad as a boomerang at one point, but that's just all it
I
does.
love that it just rewinds the footage.
Yeah, in order to show the boomerang coming back, it rewinds it. That's great. Although you do still have it in your inventory after it, so not only do they rewind it to make it look like it's going back, you had to go get it.
Yeah.
Off camera.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, the nunchuck gun though is the potent pickup. It's definitely the best one.
It's just the most iconic Dangeresque item.
Yeah, they describe it as the only gun you never have to reload because it's mostly nunchucks.
I guess that's true.
Yeah, technically true. And our final segment, linguistic gymnastics. I'm putting it at the end. How about that? What a change up.
Yeah, you're mixing it up this week.
I only have one that I really want to get to, and I know you have a bunch. So can I go first?
Yeah, you go first. Be my guest.
So there's a bit where where Strong Bad compliments Cutesy Buttons by saying that it's a fitting name for her. Theoretically implying that she's cute as a button, and then Marzipan goes, "Oh, thank you," and then Dangeresque goes, "No, more like I think you smell like old buttons," And then Marzipan goes, "Oh, are those supposed to smell bad or something?" I really like that one.
Yeah, that's good.
That's basically my one that I really wanted to do. Go ahead, take it away.
Okay, because I have quite a few. So the very first one comes from the main menu of the game.
Oh, nice.
Because you get little funny quips whenever you put your cursor over each button. And one really made me laugh just right off the bat. It's when you put your mouse over settings. Homestar, Dangeresque 2, will say, "You heard the man, settings!"
Yeah.
That's good. And the next one is another Homestar line. It's when Strong Bad's coming down for the premiere and everyone's already there waiting at the TV. And Homestar says, "Is that him? I think that's him." He's getting real excited for Strong Bad showing up.
Yeah.
Strong Bad looking out at the city and he says, "Man, that city is so at large."
Great line.
When you're looking for a clue as to who kidnapped Cutesy Buttons, and there's just this big TV and VCR in the room now, and Strong Bad says, "There's gotta be a clue somewhere around this office." Another one is when who is it that tells Strong Bad that they have to go to Venice? I think it's Renaldo.
At the first time? Maybe.
I think Renaldo's the only one in the room.
No, I thought it was Bubs.
Oh, it might have been, but Dangeresque goes, "Pack your bags, Renaldo. We're going to France." And then it cuts, and then he says, "We're going to Italy."
Yeah.
Okay, let me see. Let me look through the... I'm trying to narrow it down because I just have a massive...
Do you think Coach Z told Strong Bad actually it's in Italy? Like, who
I think
told
someone
him?
must... Yeah, they had to have cut between that and corrected him.
Yeah, I love the idea that, like, one of these characters cares enough to be like, actually, you got to be consistent here in your movie. Dangeresque 3 is really important to me. So, you got to say Italy, not France.
This is an important movie, Strong Bad.
That's good. That's a good Coach Z.
Thanks. Every single line Senor Card Gauge says.
Yeah.
No, the kids all went to the Maldives.
Yeah, and then Strong Bad has to invent the Maldives.
The Maldives. Strong Bad goes up to him and says, "Dad, I thought I lost you." And Senor Card Gauge says, "No, I was just on my 15-minute break."
Yeah.
Or I think it's when he's showing him the half of the heart that he has. Or he's showing him something. He says, "Check this thing out." And Senor Card Gauge says, "Okay, no thanks for all."
Senor Card Gauge is great.
He's just so funny. Oh, when they take out the Strong Sad monster. Strong Sad was supposed to be a big T-Rex.
Yeah.
But they did not get around to the T-Rex part. But you defeat him by throwing your half of the heart. No, you put it with the other half of the heart in the puzzle, and then throw it into his empty heart socket. And Strong Bad says, "She was kidnapped by a monster with a broken heart." And then Coach Z says, "That's the dumbest." And then it cuts, "Dangeresque, you're a genius."
Yeah.
They do that joke multiple times, and it's just such a funny joke. One is Coach Z Renaldo talking to Dangeresque. It's when you get the plans from Perducci. Dangeresque says, "I got the plans!" And Renaldo says, "The plans! You got them, Dangeresque!"
Yeah. Ronaldo is a great character for Coach Z and Strong Bad to have come up with together.
Yeah, he's great. I love it. I love his fez. I already brought this one up, but it's when they're talking about Senor Card Gauge being killed, and then you just see him walking away
Yeah.
in the background. That kills me.
Yeah.
Um,
I gotta cut you off one more for time.
Okay.
Your favorite one
that's
more.
fine. That's, actually, I think that's all I got.
Oh, okay.
So good job. You picked the perfect time to cut.
So I neglected to bring up one thing I had written down that is interesting. This episode was directed by Mark Darren, which, if you remember, directed another episode this season. Do you remember which one it was?
Is it Strong Baddie of the Free?
No, it's Homestar Ruiner, the very first episode.
Oh, the first one. Interesting. This seems like such a step up from Homestar Ruiner. Not that Homestar Ruiner is bad at all, but like I love this one.
Yeah, I don't think it's a step up as in Homestar Ruiner could have done more. I just think that Homestar Ruiner was trying to be a pilot, and this is trying to be a very specific mid-season episode.
Yeah, it's just the concept of the episode that makes it a step up.
So Mark Darren did number 1 and this one, and number 2 was Chuck Jordan. Chuck Jordan did Strong Baddie of the Free. Which I think makes sense, because we've seen Chuck Jordan's writing credits a lot on Sam and Max episodes, so he's sort of been around the block. I mean, all of these people, I think, worked on Sam and Max at some point. But he was in like a writing position, so he knows how to put an episode together. And then Mike Stemmel did the Baddest of the Bands. Just to clear that up, just to put that out there. I'm feeling much more than I ever did in Sam and Max, a connection to these directors in terms of like what kind of stuff they're making.
Interesting. Do you care to explain?
I feel like Chuck Jordan,
or do you want to save it for next episode when we have all 5 and we can kind of look back?
We'll definitely touch on it again next episode, depending on who directs that one, which I don't have that information right now. But Chuck Jordan coming from Sam and Max, and then, like, of these, which one is the most like a Sam and Max episode in terms of mechanics? It is Strong Baddie of the Free. So, like, that makes sense. Mark Darren, I think, probably also wrote for Sam and Max, but having just directed these two, like, Homestar Ruiner and Dangeresque 3, both of those, I think, play really hard on just some deep in the trenches Homestar Runner fandom shit that make me believe, okay, this guy's a huge fan of the thing.
Yeah, he knows what makes the Homestar universe tick.
Yeah. Mike Stemmel was going to, I'm pretty sure this is right. Mike Stemmel was going to be the director at LucasArts of Sam and Max Freelance Police, the game that was canceled. That
sounds familiar, yes.
So, and then he joined Telltale, and this is the first thing he worked on here at Telltale.
Okay. Nice. Well, this is a good thing to start on.
Yeah, so his thing was like he was the season director of the whole game, and then also individually for the Baddest of the Bands, he was that episode's director. So he's coming at it from more of like a just from that lineage, you might understand why he would feel a bit more like a traditional adventure game guy, putting together that episode. Baddest of the Bands feels to me like the most sort of traditional adventure game. You've got the strict, like, different acts of the episode. You've got the puzzles. The puzzles in Baddest of the Bands are probably like the most typical adventure gamey puzzles so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels a little more by the numbers, which sounds, bad, but I don't mean it to. I don't mean it as a slight against it.
Well, it is probably my least favorite episode in the season, but it's I mean, it's still fine. It's still good. It's nowhere near the lows that to me either Sam and Max season had. But also I don't think the highs are near the highs of either Sam and Max season either.
It's kind of in the middle, which is fine. It definitely works. It works perfectly well for what Homestar is.
Yeah. It's an adaptation of a thing that was ongoing at the time, and they really don't do that until they don't do that again until like Guardians of the Galaxy, Batman, maybe like, because Sam and Max hadn't been going for a long time. Monkey Island hadn't been going for a long time. The Walking Dead. No, actually, yeah, I guess The Walking Dead would count. But The Walking Dead,
well,
it was a different
Walking Dead
thing.
Is like,
it was a different story.
Yeah, Walking Dead has its own cast of characters not related to the show or comic. For the most part, it had a couple here and there.
Yeah, I know later some of the game characters from Telltale's own designed characters ended up being seen in the show and comic later.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that. Because I'll be straight up. I like the Walking Dead Telltale games. I could not be less interested in watching the show.
Yeah, I've seen the first season of the show. I don't care about zombies in general.
Yeah, I think having the interactivity part of it really helps with the game. Getting like character relationships you're kind of helping build.
Just as a genre, as like an aesthetic trope, zombies do not do it for me. It's not a thing I get excited about at all. So anything
kind of.
Yeah, you like them?
I'm not like dying for them, but I kind of like it if it's in like something I like what's a good example? I know you're not a big fan of it, but Conker's Bad Fur Day has a part with zombies in it. When I got to that part, I was like, oh, okay, now we're dealing with zombies. I like this, but like, I wouldn't like set out to experience something where that was like the main draw of it, I guess. Like even Walking Dead, I wasn't interested in playing on my own. I had to have friends recommend it to me for me to actually want to play it.
When I was a kid and I was going through Conker for the first time, the zombie part full stopped me. I did not go through it.
Were you scared?
No, I mean a little probably, but it was more the controls of like suddenly this is a shooter game and I just don't have this language of how to play this game.
I feel you.
And I tried a few times, but also it was like, hey, want to play this level? It was specifically the like snake curling pathway up to the mansion in Conkers, where just that little path. Full of zombies where they first show up. It's like, okay, I'm hard out. This game ends now. This is the end of the game to me. Yeah. Anyway, this has been our discussion on Dangeresque 3, the Criminal Projective, the fourth and penultimate episode of Strong Bad's Cool Game for Attractive People. Please rate and review and subscribe and do all the things you know you gotta do for this podcast. Leave a review if I see a review, I'll read it on the show unless you don't want me to.
I thought that was gonna go down a different path.
If I see a review, I will hunt you down.
If I see so much as a single review, so help me.
Unless I see so much as a single review, I will hunt you down, because I guess I want it to happen. But yeah, seriously, any kind of subscription, any kind of review helps us in the ratings and be discovered a lot. That would be really helpful. And if you do subscribe, you'll be given a notification, inevitably, next week when Strong Bad's Cool Game for Attractive People episode 5, 8-Bit is Enough, comes out, and we're able to talk about the very end of the Strong Bad season.
Wow, it's the end of my first playthrough of Strong Bad's Cool Game for Attractive People.
We'll have to have a full discussion of how this whole season wrapped up. This is the first season we finished that isn't Sam and Max.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that before. That's crazy. This is because we did the 2 Sam and Max seasons, then we did this one, then we just did Bone and Texas Hold'em.
Yeah, because Bone... We didn't finish the season of Bone, but that's not our fault. They didn't finish the season of Bone.
Do you think if it was a whole season, you would have wanted to play through the rest?
I mean, I already want to play through the rest. It's just, there isn't any.
Yeah. It was a little rough around the edges, but I would have liked to have kept going.
I think there was just some stuff with Bone where it like started with a lore dump of their universe, and I knew from the outset, hey, you're not going to get around to this.
Don't worry.
Do not waste your time here. Waste your time with things I know you can get around to. You can get around to the love story between Phone Bone and Thorn. Just like do it. Do the thing with Phony Bone getting kicked out. Because if you try to do the dragon whatever, you won't get there. But they couldn't have known that at the time, of course. So
yeah.
So that's been this episode. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you later.
Goodbye. I love you.
Today is all right for tonight.